What's up, nerds? It's M.A.R.Y. Lugosi is dead over on Instagram, and today we're talking about gender. Scary, I know. So to start, I'm specifically agender, meaning that I don't experience or have an attachment to gender at all. Some of my earliest memories were being called ugly and saying that I looked like a boy because I had short hair. I remember going to my dad's house after I chopped off my hair. Meanwhile, my mom didn't tell my dad how I changed my hair, but I remember him and my stepmom telling me that I looked like a boy, that I looked so much prettier before, and that I looked like a punk rocker. I had my hair gelled up into a mohawk. Go figure. It quickly taught me that there was a right way and a wrong way to present. Over the years, I had a strenuous relationship with femininity, to say the least. I had short hair all throughout my childhood though, but it wasn't until about 8th grade when I had the inkling that I wasn't a girl. I knew about trans people by then, but I only knew about binary trans people, people who were female to male or vice versa. But I had a positive opinion of trans people by this point thanks to the internet and shows like I Am Jazza on TLC. Due to my lack of knowledge around non-binary trans people, I just naturally assumed that I was a trans boy. And during this time, I was also obsessed with 21 Pilots, so I named myself Tyler. I tried that out for a while, few weeks, few months, and I quickly realized that it just didn't fit right. So I just moved on with the discomfort of being a girl and being a boy until I learned about non-binary people. First, I learned about non-binary people, and then it was gender fluid people, demi, boys, girls, agender people such as myself. And I thought I was gender fluid actually for a while. After I was Tyler, I remember that. I was just thinking on it more, and I started getting dysphoria around my chest a lot, which I still struggle with to this day. And I realized that I don't really see myself as either. And even further than that, the more and more I dug deep, I realized that I just don't even experience gender. Like, I don't have an attachment to it, thinking about my childhood and understanding the ways that transphobia, homophobia affected me made me realize a lot of things about myself. First person I ever came out to was actually my now boyfriend. I remember being in drama class in 9th grade, emailing him on my school laptop and being all nervous and telling him, I have something to tell you. And when I told him that I was non-binary, I literally remember him being like, okay, I don't care. Here we are as adults, and one of the only people in my life that really consistently genders me correctly. I have plenty of supportive friends, but you know, I live in southern USA, and being out as non-binary is not any way normal here. So my friends who are supportive, I cut them some slack for, you know, kind of getting tricked up on it. I get it. I remember getting my first binder when I was 16, and I actually had it sent to my friend Erica's house. Erica, if you're watching this, I love you, and I still wear it because I'm broke and can't afford a new binder. I just remember putting it on for the first time and literally crying. I just felt like I was closer to me than I've ever been. Because of my autism, I find it really hard on my body because of the compression. It's very easy to make me feel claustrophobic. I don't do tight spaces, and the recommended time is actually 8 to 10 hours, and I can at max do it for 8 hours. Around 6 or 7, I will literally feel like somebody is like grabbing me and squeezing my body. So the thing that makes me feel most at home, I really can't wear it that often, and especially in this southern heat, just done for. I came out to my mom when I was 17. She was not very responsive to it. She told me that I was just telling predators to, quote, them, not me, referring to, women, not me because I'm not a woman. There's so many things wrong with that. One, it's reminiscent of the transphobic idea that trans men are just girls, women that are scared of dealing with sexualization, especially trans boys. And two, ignores the very real predation that trans people of all genders face, mainly obviously trans women, but trans men and non-binary people definitely still get attacked. Like, I can say as a non-binary person, as someone who is agender, my gender has never stopped anybody from harassing me or sexualizing me, because most people still look at me and see a cis woman on first glance. Coming out to my dad wasn't really a definitive choice. I was out on social media and he saw my profile and basically texted me and made fun of me to me about it, and he just simply told me I was a woman and nothing was gonna change that. But at least he said he still loved me after making fun of me and then just completely ignoring everything I was telling him about gender and the difference between gender and sex. I've had a strange time with my gender throughout my life. When I was masculine leaning, I was obviously getting discriminated against, bullied, and now that I've become more comfortable with my femininity and I'm seeking to find a balance and figure out what androgyny and embodying a gender means to me, everybody assumes I'm cis. With that, queer people assume I'm cis, even online, where it's painfully obvious, even when I say that I'm not cis. Some queer people, specifically people who are in the process of being biphobic towards me and invalidating my queerness because of the fact that I'm with a cis man, they often, I feel it's a need of them when they're in the process of saying that I don't count because I have a boyfriend, that they have to also tell me how cis I look too and that I look so girl. I feel like because of these experiences that biphobia and transphobia are interchangeably connected. I believe that for these people who insist on just erasing my place here as a bisexual, as an agender person, I think it comes down to queerness not being overt enough. I believe for some in the online queer community, if your queerness and by extension your oppression, your pain isn't overt enough or obvious enough, they don't want anything to do with you. People are just, even in the queer community, are just so beholden to their stereotypes. That's why every time I'm just dismissed as, a straight white girl wanting to be oppressed. That's not true in any kind of way. But also, this is why trans men are silenced, why aro-ace people are just completely erased as not queer, why binary and non-binary trans people infight, why lesbians and bisexuals infight, why gay men and everybody infight, why intersex language is co-opted by people who aren't intersex, why people, white people still alienate and appropriate black people, brown people, and their culture in the queer community. Working on my internalized biphobia and transphobia has taught me that aspects of outer conservative culture are still very dominant in the queer community, namely purity culture and persecution complexes. But this is just my observation and I'm not backing up any evidence for that. But for a bunch of people that say everything is connected, all of our oppression is connected, we sure don't act like it. It became really apparent to me when I realized that the voice in my head as a kid telling me that being masculine and liking girls was wrong and makes me illegitimate, a liar, is the same voice in my head that was telling me as an adult that my femininity and my cis boyfriend also make me a liar and illegitimate and wrong. And I'm just like, it's almost like the solution is to ignore everybody else and live my damn life. Whatever hardships I've experienced in my life, no matter how they compare to other people, will never affect how I show up for other people in this world. The older I get, the more that I realize that the only two things that are going to save us is, one, waking up and realizing that most everything on your phone is a lie, or at the very least is shown to you for a reason, mainly to keep you on the app longer by any means necessary. Best way I can show an example of this off the top of my head is being a feminine bisexual online. I get fed a lot of content of lesbians being biphobic, and I had to, one, realize that it's an algorithm designed to show me a lot of the same thing, and two, listen to a lot of lesbians who will say out and proudly, I love bisexuals, I'm dating a bisexual, I hate biphobia, I'm friends, whatever. And two, realizing that all of us at the base level have the same hurt, which is being alienated or stepped over or taken advantage of because of an intrinsic part of who we are. My best advice is to just not fall for rage bait and approach things genuinely. Like, if you see something and you want to speak up on it, take the opportunity to try and educate rather than aggravate, because honestly, a lot of times, I really do believe that a lot of times it comes down to ignorance and another person's pain. Sometimes you have to realize when someone is ignorant or when someone is in pain and wants to take that pain out on somebody else, or that is just a bot and designed to keep you online longer. And get out and talk to people. Like, honestly, the more I've gone offline and talked to people, the more that I realize that most people don't give a fuck what you do in your life and will probably cheer you on if they can tell that you're being genuine and not like an asshole. The place that I've learned that the most is the fact that me and my boyfriend are open to having another partner. I've talked to straight people, gay people, bi people who have all looked at me and been like, wow, you can handle that? Alright, have fun. Like, I swear, if you go out and talk to people, most people literally don't care what you do as long as you aren't hurting anybody. With all that being said, this administration's tactics have been to flood the zone and tire all of us into submission. So for my mental health, I am choosing two things to focus on to keep my sanity. If you'd like to be part of some kind of change, then please donate to ACLU Kansas to help trans Kansans get their IDs back and get the right to use a damn restroom back, along with all the other links that I have down below to help trans people in Kansas. Also, I have a friend in Minneapolis who is a black trans woman trying to make ends meet under ICE occupation, and if you would like to donate to her, her Cashapp and Venmo are both Zetoviii. She is currently struggling to pay for medical expenses. Also, shout out to my friend Briggy, or Bricks, over here on YouTube, who is letting me play her music in the background without copyright striking me. Please go subscribe to her. I love her music. I love the atmosphere of her music. It's so moody and pretty, and I freaking love it. Go to the description to learn more ways to help trans Kansans, and other than that, I'll make sure to turn your topic into a reality.